On the next train roll on. Now that MoMRail's finally got the spine she needs to move Kansas Cityans around, the question now remains where she spreads those loving arms. One of those arms could lead right to Kansas.
By the power of NIMBY rails, I'm gonna tear up your town. So when those yellow lights get late, better find another way around. Train roll on.
Alright, it's your favorite neighborhood Baron here once again, now that we got the north-south thing going on. We did call it the spine line, so now this thing's got to grow arms and legs and limbs and ears and head. Okay, I'll get ahead of myself. But you know, it wouldn't be so hard for MoMRail to just go 2 states deep. I mean, we're right across the border. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a little stroll down to KCK? Apparently there's a taco trail regarding KCK. There's about 30 different restaurants involved. I've only tried 7 of them.
This train is bound for Strawberry Hill.
And onward, soldiers of all faiths, we go. Out into the great blue. Wait a minute. Yo, camera guy. What are you doing? The train's already left and you're still stuck at Crown Center. That's the thing with these fly-by-night drone people. You buy cheap, you buy 2 times, 3 times, then you talk a bunch of crap about them, and then they start straightening up. There you go. Little overview of some of the people that will be accompanying us on our journey. We ended up not setting up at Union Station, but hey, we're using some of that same right-of-way. We just told Crown Center and Hallmark, hey, you can go ahead and have your Sea Life Aquarium, your Crayola, ice skating rink, what have you, but we're going to do this for real. Train roll on, baby. MoMRail got to keep on growing. And apparently we're the first people to get to the Kansas side. Although one thing's for sure, I predict a huge cleaning bill on this line.
Next station is Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena. Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena is your next station. This is the transfer point for the Kansas City-Kansas Loop, the Southeast Line, the Great Connector, the West Metro Loop, the Northwest Line, and high-speed rail service to Lawrence, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas. Exit here for the American Royal, Hy-Vee Arena, the West Bottoms and Stockyards districts, and the trailhead of the Rock Island Trail. Thank you for riding MoMRail.
Barbecue smells, tacos, sweaty bikers coming off of that trail, you know what I mean.
Next station is Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena. Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena is your next station. This is the transfer point for the Kansas City-Kansas Loop, the Southeast Line, the Great Connector, the West Metro Loop, the Northwest Line, and high-speed rail service to Lawrence, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas. Exit here for the American Royal, Hy-Vee Arena, the West Bottoms and Stockyards districts, and the trailhead of the Rock Island Trail. Thank you for riding MoMRail.
And what are those other 2 lines doing here? Yeah, we'll get to them later. Meanwhile, imagine having this line running just outside of downtown, back when Hy-Vee Arena used to be Kemper Arena in 1976 when they hosted the Republican Convention and they nominated Gerald Ford. But you know what? Even as the all-powerful rail baron that I am, I'm still bound by a higher power, the power of NIMBY rails. Unfortunately, these NIMBY rail gods I keep praying to don't care who's playing at what time or what event's going on. Somebody better live there. Or it better go somewhere else that's real cool and exciting. Hey, it's only by the power of NIMBY rails that I get to tear up this town. Those of you that like to take theme songs too seriously.
This train is bound for Strawberry Hill.
Now, this would have been a boon for the American Royal competition, for Boulevardia down south. I mean, it would have been a walk to Boulevardia, but still. Step out of MoMRail and what do you hear? Well, you hear the Struts, Fitz and the Tantrums, Young the Giant, all kinds of good old alternative rock and roll. Some local acts, too. You know, Kansas City's got a nice local music scene that's finally on the mend, thank goodness. You know, I've been thinking, with the KC streetcar finally doing live performances in select cars, I mean, one thing it would do is to make the dollar fare worthwhile and the 25 cents a kilometer, but at the same time, do I really want such a captive audience?
The next station is Strawberry Hill. Strawberry Hill is your next station. This is the end of the Kansas City, Kansas branch and the transfer point for the Kansas City, Kansas Loop and the West Metro Loop. Exit here for 7th Street Casino, Memorial Hall, the Strawberry Hill Museum and Center, and shopping and dining in the Strawberry Hill and downtown KCK districts. Thank you for riding MoMRail.
All right, you sunflower Jayhawk freaks, everybody out of here. I'm going to stay on because it's my train. Got to show these YouTube lurkers what Mama's got in store for the right arm. The east side, as Benny Blanco would have it. We can always stop at 7th Street Casino at another time.
This train is bound for Crown Center.
All right, as we cross back over into the Missouri side, this will be the time I give you that shameless plug. Like and subscribe if you like this program. Comment to see what I should do differently. Tell me what I should do differently. I'll either take your advice to heart or tell you you're just full of it. By the way, the comment section's down below. We're kind of like Casey's and Quick Trip in this town. Depending on what neighborhood we're in, we never close. The comment section, that is. And here's the other kicker, and I think this really drives up the maintenance costs because I don't know how to do depots. MoMRail never closes. We're 24 hours a day and we still don't even have a proper logo up. What a shame. The first thing I can think of is, get some blonde or brunette
Next
wig
station is Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena. Stockyards Hy-Vee Arena is your next station. This is the transfer point for the Kansas City, Kansas Loop, the Southeast Line, the Great Connector, the West Metro Loop, the Northwest Line, and high-speed rail service to Lawrence, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas. Exit here for the American Royal, Hy-Vee Arena, the West Bottoms and Stockyards districts, and the trailhead of the Rock Island Trail. Thank you for riding MoMRail.
And just imagine if those stockyards were actually still stockyards. I complained about a cleaning bill on the way out to Kansas. Bringing all those workers in trying to get home, that would have stunk up my train. But that was last century, this is this century. I just thought of something else. What if you had two competing concerts at Hy-Vee Arena and T-Mobile Center?
This train is bound for Crown Center.
Hell, you're 2 stops away from each. Maybe a 10-minute wait to catch my train. Say New Edition was playing at Hy-Vee Arena, Pink was playing T-Mobile. I don't know who would pay both full ticket prices to go to half a concert or to go back and forth and miss a bunch of songs, but hey, we're imagining here. And now that we're coming to the end of this round trip, you're probably wondering how much money this branch is making me. Well, between running costs and maintenance, hell, that doesn't even equal $1 million some quarters. Kind of making a killing on this line between 3.5, maybe 3.7 million. All in all, incidents, accidents, and grumpy customers all lumped in. I'm doing okay, about $2.5 million on this line per quarter. Divided by 3, 800,000. Hey, at least I'm in the plus, unlike some rail operations. I'm trying.
The next station is Crown Center. Crown Center is your next station. This is the end of the Kansas City, Kansas branch and the transfer point for the Kansas City Spine Line and the East Kansas City branch. Exit here for Hallmark Headquarters, Legoland, Crown Center, Liberty Memorial, Children's Mercy Hospital, and Skywalk service to Union Station.
Yeah, Children's Mercy, give me all your sick kids so we can buy the naming rights to a soccer stadium.
The next station is Crown Center. Crown Center is your next station. This is the end of the Kansas City, Kansas branch and the transfer point for the Kansas City Spine Line and the East Kansas City branch. Exit here for Hallmark Headquarters, Legoland, Crown Center, Liberty Memorial, Children's Mercy Hospital, and Skywalk service to Union Station.
Alright, let's get off of this train before I get into some big healthcare debate with some John Galt wannabe. Still got another branch to explore,
Incoming train, please step 3 feet away from the
Yeah, it's 3 feet back for a reason, just in case some wise guy wants to reach his or her loving arms to the train and then lose a finger because of it. We got rules here, I still got a $31 million a month loan to pay off. Not trying to get into any litigation. Another Thursday morning in June. I figured I'd get up this early in the morning to kind of beat the heat. You know how these summers get here in Kansas City. Although a couple of years ago, I think it got somewhere in the upper 60s still for a high. Anyway, there goes one of our spine line trains heading southbound. Probably some downtown dwellers being forced to go back into the office again. Those little high-rises out near Country Club Plaza and Westport and all those WeWork spaces. WeWork, they're not even around anymore. What am I talking about? You know, if they wanted to, our trains here at MoMRail have got just enough room to spread out. We got Wi-Fi.
This train is bound for Indian Mound.
It's part of what I'm talking about with those maintenance costs, that running cost. Got to keep that internet going 24/7. Folks on your headphones trying to stream all that Spotify and YouTube and Zune and Tidal Wave and Napster if they're still around. All right, eastbound and up we go. Right along that same right-of-way that Amtrak and a few other freight rails used to graze through. Now we just kind of squeeze right in. We offer a more comfy ride, too, and you don't have to do any train hopping. Matter of fact, we throw out train hoppers. Those of you without a ticket, it'd be just like little Lulu in that 40s cartoon hanging on for dear life because you couldn't find your ticket. You stuffed it in your shoe, but you couldn't reveal it. Now you're trying to hang on, and you know those hills here in Kansas City, they could be kind of steep. God, finally we're off at this station. Dadgummit. You're probably wondering, can't this train go any faster? Well, first of all, the tracks are only designed at about 60 kilometers per hour. That's top speed of about 40 miles. And hey, at least we're going faster than the KC streetcar. There's no stoplights to go through. You got Wi-Fi, you got a little bit of room to breathe. And this thing only costs you $1 to get on board. And it's only a 5-mile trip one way. So maximum, you're looking at about $3.25 to get to the end of the line. Now how's that for good value? Yeah, finally we're off of that spine line track. I probably could have gone crisscross, but it would have been an absolute mess. All right, everybody wave to those nice people stuck in traffic on 71 Highway. Or better yet, everyone point and laugh. Should have hopped on MoMRail. Did we even cover the south side? Good question.
The next station is 18th and Vine. 18th and Vine is your next station. Exit here for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and the 18th and Vine Jazz District.
I know we passed the actual district, but hey, that's what my shuttles are for, right?
The next station is 18th and Vine. 18th and Vine is your next station. Exit here for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and the 18th and Vine Jazz District.
Wow, doesn't seem like there's a lot of folks in Washington Wheatley that want to get on board. Oh well, more elbow room for the old Baron. I can smell Arthur Bryant's all the way from here.
This train is bound for Indian Mound.
Indian Mound. Is it still good nomenclature to call anything Indian anything rather than Native American anything? I mean, I called it just as the neighborhood called it. You know, there's North Indian Mound, South Indian Mound. I might as well combine the two together, since Dakota and Carolina don't want to combine their North or South anymore. All these states want to divide themselves. North California, South California, North Missouri, South Missouri. Imagine if that split were to happen. They were the compromise state after all. Hard to believe it's been over 200 years of Missouri statehood. How many of y'all went to the Missouri State Fair in 2021? I'll add your boy if you did in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear your story. There goes all those poor souls buried in Elmwood Cemetery. And also there goes a lot of Mexican and Hispanic restaurants. A whole block that could probably put Southwest Boulevard and KCK to shame. Or better yet, let me ask you this. What's the best Mexican restaurant you've ever been to in Kansas City? Was it in any of those three areas I just mentioned? No matter where, MoMRail will take you there.
The next station is Indian Mound. Indian Mound is your next station. This is the end of the Kansas City East Branch and the transfer point for the East Metro Line and the Independence Avenue Line. Exit here for the North Indian Mound, South Indian Mound, and Sheffield neighborhoods.
There was this newspaper called Northeast News that was based out of a house in that neighborhood. 2 stories.
The next station is Indian Mound. Indian Mound is your next station. This is the end of the Kansas City East Branch and the transfer point for the East Metro Line and the Independence Avenue Line. Exit here for the North Indian Mound, South Indian Mound, and Sheffield neighborhoods.
Yes, viewers, I know what you're thinking. That's that same Independence Avenue bridge everyone's talking about nationwide. The one with all the semis and moving trucks to try to press their luck. Well, we've tucked ourselves under all that nonsense because I don't want any debris flying all around my passengers as they wait for my trains.
This train is bound for Crown Center.
Although if I did put it up top, and those moving trucks tried to try their luck and the bridge just swallowed them up, all that debris started flying, a lot of lawsuits could follow. I could sue a lot of trucking companies and make even more great MoMRail lines. Plus, I got them all in my pocket anyway. Onderlaw, Edelman and Thompson, Brown and Crouppen, those Tiger people at Jungle Law, that Mike DeBasquale guy who used to be a football player. All have so far bowed before me in my quest to give Kansas City another way around. And by the way, as we make our way back to Washington Wheatley, we do have bike racks on our trains. So say you wanted to hop over to 18th and Vine, you can still get off of one of our stations anyway. Or maybe they put that new Royals ballpark next door. Bridge the gap between Crossroads and 18th and Vine, make it one giant little district. I don't know what John Sherman has up his sleeve, but now we got Clay County in the mix. They want to get this done by 2027, 2028, but half of the fans don't even want it to move. You know that giant complex just off of I-70 where the Royals and the Chiefs play? That could make a great spot for a MoMRail station. What do you say? Especially, hell, I should have been there last year. Maybe I would have caught some of those Beyonce fans that had to ditch their cars in the middle of the night.
The next station is 18th and Vine. 18th and Vine is your next station. Exit here for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and the 18th and Vine Jazz District.
Wasn't quite a sweet dream as that bootylicious beehive lost their breath in that beeline to Arrowhead.
The next station is 18th and Vine. 18th and Vine is your next station. Exit here for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and the 18th and Vine Jazz District.
Great example of parking minimums never going out of style. Okay, that's enough Taylor puns. Everyone's already doing that. But that's the thing, if this town wants to attract major events like the World Cup or keep getting all-star games and NFL drafts, they're going to need folks like me laying down all that steel.
This train is bound for Crown Center.
And honestly, I don't care if Brightline comes to Kansas City. Now, they'll probably get a line going from here to St. Louis and call it a day. I get to take you through town. I get you through the everyday and not just the weekend escapades. Yeah, I alone can fix it. We already know what I'm starting to sound like. But I tell you this line's costing me a little bit more than that KCK branch that I just showed you earlier. And honestly, not too much more per quarter. $1.1 million to run and operate the darn thing. Still make $3.5 million on fares, and it still puts me at about 2.3, 2.4 a quarter, $800,000 a month. I'll take it. And between the East Branch and KCK at 1.6, 2.3 mil on the spine line per month, almost 4 mil. That's just over 10% of the monthly bill. Wait a minute. That's just over 10%.
The next station is Crown Center. Crown Center is your next station. This is the end of the East Kansas City branch and the transfer point for the Kansas City spine line and the Kansas City, Kansas branch. Exit here for Hallmark headquarters, Legoland, Crown Center, Liberty Memorial, Children's Mercy Hospital, and Skywalk service to Union Station.
Yikes. That's only an eighth of the monthly bill I gotta pay to run this operation, MoMRail. Folks, I gotta start thinking bigger.
The next station is Crown Center. Crown Center is your next station. This is the end of the East Kansas City branch and the transfer point for the Kansas City spine line and the Kansas City, Kansas branch. Exit here for Hallmark headquarters, Legoland, Crown Center, Liberty Memorial, Children's Mercy Hospital, and Skywalk service to Union Station.
Well, something to ponder as I go look at some whales and greeting cards that never quite caught on. Maybe playing with Legos or grazing in the grass will give me some inspiration as to where to go. But until then, happy trails for now.